Hey everybody, welcome to Unfiltered and Intentional. Let me put my glasses on so I can be studious. But with that being said, thank you for tuning in on this Sunday. We want to talk about immigration, the policies, what's going on, how you guys feel, what's been going on in the news. There's a lot of things been happening. We wasn't here last week, so we got some catching up to do. But before we do all that, definitely, Ty, can you let everybody know what to do?
Welcome. Let me put my sorry.
Out.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Unfiltered and intentional. Here we go. But love you guys. Welcome again to Unfiltered and Intentional. Yes, you see, like and subscribe and share. We love all you guys. We are streaming on 2 different platforms. So you could go to our Facebook group or our YouTube page and type in Unfiltered and Intentional and make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We love you.
Thank you, Ty. You got anything for us, Liz?
Yes. So we missed it last week. Let's not miss it again this week. September 15th to October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. So Latinos, Latinas, Hispanic, Latinx, whatever they've come up with these days. Much love, love. And so I think we're all pretty much a mix of everything, and celebrating culture is never a bad thing. So happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everybody.
Yes. And we have a lot of Afro Latinos out there. If you know your heritage, I always say that we came from the same place, but we just went on different boats and ended up different places. And actually, when I was research, majority of the slave trade ended up in Brazil. And then from there, it started going extra places. Yeah, but majority of the slaves that came from Africa ended up in South America. I had learned about Mexicans with Afro Latino blood in them. I mean, but at the end of the day, we make them all shapes, colors, sizes. We can do it all, right? So no. Thank you for that information. We love our brothers and sisters and our cousins. Yeah. But we're going to talk about immigration. But before we get into immigration, I just want to give a shout out to Miss Shawnette. She has graced this platform many, many times. It's her birthday. Happy birthday to you. We love you. But back to the hot topics. I want to talk about immigration because if you've been on the news, if you happen to hear something on the social media, there was an image going around of a border patrol, and it looked like he was taking a whip. That's what it looked like, and he was striking an individual. Well, it wasn't a per se a whip the way we know, but it was a rein. The ones that you have your horse and you're guiding your horse with. If anybody has ever ridden a horse, know anything about horses, even though they're for an actual horse, you can utilize them, to do other things with them. And the image is very, very clear. Of course, there are a lot of different people that feel differently on opposing sides. They may say we're being dramatic, but before we get into that about how we feel, I want to hear you guys. Do you feel that we're taking this out of context? How do you feel, Ty, Specs, Liz? Because pictures speak 1,000 words. So, how do you guys feel?
I mean, what's a good context? Like, what's an acceptable context to put that in? I mean, like what would the story be that would make you go, oh, okay, I get it now? Like, what would be an acceptable context? There is no context that makes sense. Sorry, nope.
Okay, so you're just like, no way, Jose. Okay, what about you, Specs?
It's a good throwback. When you see it, it was really intentional. Like what you call those, the slave patrols. So That's what it looked like. They look like the overseer. They look like the overseer, but the thing is, that's why police ride horses. They're not that fast. They're not that agile. Why you ride horses? It's the imagery. So they did that before because the spokesperson for them said they were just doing what they were trained to do. That says a lot. So you were trained. So you're trained to take that and whip people with it while you're on your horse
Mhm.
in this day and age. So it's a slave patrol thing. The only and they've been doing it probably to so many different people. What happened was they got caught on video.
Okay, so I'm gonna be before you say anything, Tom, I'm gonna be devil's advocate. For people who say the job of border patrol is to patrol the border, to control the border. If I didn't have that to stop individuals possibly trying to cross over, what can I do out there? I can't take a car and run it through the water. You know, I mean, are you saying that that's their job, or they could have did it a little bit better?
Oh yeah,
Specs?
you could do things better. There's always a better way. So like if you roll around hitting people with whips, and you can't tell me that in policing and not the slave patrol, but policing, you have no better way.
Okay.
If you don't like, pay me $3-4 million. I'll figure out a way and train you. You can't tell me that all the money that we spend with them that's the only thing they came out with, and they was doing that back in the 17 and 1800s. That's it. That's all you got. Like that's. But see, that's the bull. That's the bullshit. That's well. This is how this was. Get a motorcycle. If you can ride a horse, if you can learn to ride a horse, and that thing has a mind of its own, you can learn to ride a motorcycle, a dirt bike. Stop. Like no. Like so. None of that. All of that is the bullshit. When somebody's like regurgitating like talking points of the bullshit, I kind of stop them like this, man. You need to do all that because
Okay.
I don't hear you because you're bullshitting me, and you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time. So I've heard arguments like that, and I just stop people like stop. You need to do all that. That's fine.
Okay. What
You're just
about
trying
you?
to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think about the kids that were there and what their experience is like trying to come over here. This is what they're going to relive for the rest of their lives. I mean, are there people out there that may come to do some bad things? Absolutely, but I believe most of the people are really there because they need help, right? There's always ways to improve. I say great job sarcastically to the media for not only exposing what's going on, but making sure they depict a very clear picture. That was very intentional, the way they took those pictures and put them out there.
Thank you
More
for
than just
tuning in on this.
It's feedback, Specs.
Yeah, I was trying to share it, but I can't because
It's okay.
it's feedback. So
Go ahead.
I always say from the beginning that our issue is we need to diminish the systems in itself. We keep looking for improvements in a system that was not set up to make us feel better.
Mm-hmm.
What
right,
do you think?
right.
So before anybody chimes in and we get into the audience and see what they think, I definitely had a little clip that I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm gonna play it. This is from our late president. So let's see what he had to say about it.
Most people would say they were doing one hell of a job, right? Don't you think? They're in trouble. Can you believe it? One thing is certain, this would never, ever be happening if I were the president, and we should have been the president. Tens of thousands of illegal immigrants have overrun our borders in recent days while laughing in the faces of our Border Patrol agents. And they're going after the riders of the horses, not the people that came in illegally. Isn't that incredible? And they've just put them under watch. They're in big trouble, the riders of those horses. Most people would say they were doing one hell of a job, right? Don't you think?
So I'm not going to play it again. Everybody's faces have their eyes rolled. A little frustration.
But the good news out of that clip, there's something good in there. He said, if he were president. Is that him saying that he ain't president? Is that?
Oh,
Can we take a win from that?
but once again, we're going to talk about more into immigration in a second, but I want to talk the leadership first. I'm very, very disappointed in the Democrats. I'm very, very disappointed at the fact that when we try to hold the Democrats accountable for the things that they drop, for the plays that they miss, we get slack. Like, man, don't talk bad about the Democrats. Don't talk bad about Biden. Don't talk bad about Kamala. First of all, I don't know where Kamala is. I know that.
Like finding Waldo.
I know Specs say, that the vice president doesn't come around like that, but at the same time, this was her baby to nurture, right? And I did see her at a basketball game. It was some type of sports event that she kind of waved and stuff while people are being beat in the Rio, but I'm just trying to figure out why can't we hold the politicians accountable? Why is it that the Democrats are so fucking soft? Why is it that the only party that seems to be able to do what they have to do, and not saying you agree with what they're doing, is the Republicans. Republicans will thug shit out. I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think I'm a racist. I don't care if your mama like it. I am doing it from the back, and this is what it is. I don't understand why Democrats cannot do the same thing.
Well, here's the thing, because Republicans stay in lockstep. See, when people say, "Where's Kamala? Why she wasn't doing this?" Right? That's division. The Republicans never do that. When Trump does something, he's correct. Don't question him. Just be quiet, lockstep. When Pence does something, be quiet, lockstep. That's how you move. That's power. When you have division, you have no power. When you have that, so that's the example. Look at that. There was a movie called, what's it called? Malcolm X. And there's a scene where he turns to the FOI and does this, and they all turn and move. And the police officer says, that's too much power for one man. Lockstep, right? So, but you have the other blacks, and like no formity. So that's easy to like beat them down. You're not going after FOI. Notice police are not beating FOI. That's not something they do. They'll beat all type of other black people. They won't touch them. Lockstep. So we need to practice, let them do their job, and then let's see what happens. Then say something. Because when you have a snap reaction and you have all that division, then that's why Trump can say what he says.
To say. Liz was looking like she had something to say. What was you going to say?
Go ahead.
And so I agree with Specs. I couldn't agree with Specs anymore, right? So this is one of those things that we've touched it here and there on the show, but we've never really dived into it. And I know that tonight is about immigration, but in its totality, here's the real truth, right? So I know that we've talked about like American descendants of slaves, right? And my argument has always been, the fuck is that? And I'm sorry, but what is that, right? Because at the end of the day, we entered the conversation talking about Hispanic Heritage Month, right? And people would argue, well, they're Afro-Latinos, and then you've got African Americans, and you've got, if we were all just descendants of slaves or people that have been removed from Africa as a force, as a united force, there's no way in the world anybody would be chasing anybody around on horseback anymore. If we could collectively say you have robbed all of our countries and all of our people, and we want our shit back, and we ain't taking no more, then collectively that would be a force to reckon with.
But stop real quick. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Thank you for saying that. The reason why I'm gonna have to stop you right there is because now if was a fifth, we'd be all drunk right now, but it's not.
Yeah.
So when you mention Hispanics, when you talk about Hispanics, on one end, you got your Fat Joes of America, and they right there with us, and we like, yes, we love you. But when it goes down, and I have seen it, Hispanics are very united, very close-knit families. Doesn't matter if you're Cuban, Puerto Rican, and within those, they're even more, family-oriented, very, very driven. And if you had to choose a side, when you see Hispanics choose a side, like, hey, we standing toe to toe with our African American brothers and sisters. It was funny. I was having a conversation about the judicial system. They're not choosing their black brothers. They choosing their Hispanic peeps. When I went to Puerto Rico just this weekend, you have your darker Hispanic, you have your lighter Hispanic. And the lighter Hispanic will look at you like you do not belong. No, mamacita. You need to go and back up over here. And that right there is what's frustrating, because on one end it's like, yes, Afro-Latina, we all in this together. But when it comes to this green dollar, which separates you and me, I'm going to pick a side. And the division is there. The division is there.
The same thing exists within the Black community here in the United States, right? Because a Black American or a Black African is real quick to be like, yo, you ain't one of us, real quick, right? So the point is that long time ago, the people that meant to do this, they divided and conquered. And today we are still divided and we are still conquered. And that is the point. The whole thing that you proved the point, right? So it's still this division of, even within the Hispanic culture, as much as you think Hispanics are all one people, they're not. Cubans are Cuban, Dominicans are Dominican, Puerto Ricans are Puerto Rican. And if you call a Puerto Rican a Dominican, you back up.
Right.
Because bullets might fly. It's that real. Because again, we were divided and conquered a long time ago. And so now it's really easy to whip people. Now notice, it's the exact same border. It's the same border that the Mexicans and the Hondurans and the Salvadoranians and everybody else was coming over. And all of a sudden, the only topic is about these Haitians on the border. First of all, how they get to the border. That's a whole different thing. But it's the same damn border. The border itself is the issue. It doesn't matter who was there. This time it happened to be darker skinned people being tracked down by horses and people on horses with whips. And so that's a throwback to slavery. Dude.
So I'm blaming
the same whips.
So and Ty, I'll have you jump in a second, but it's so frustrating, the whole thing, right? And I'm putting the blame on the Democrats at the moment, because right now we're in a pandemic, quasi, I suppose, right? So why is it that COVID is real in America, right? And we got to put these masks on. We got to take these shots. We got to do all these things. But when it comes to immigration, nobody per se has COVID. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I'm just so confused. Like, they had a picture of the Afghanis that helped the troops and their families all on a plane. Nobody had a mask on. There was no protocol. Of course, emergency situation, we have to throw everybody on there. But all of a sudden, when you have the Haitians coming over, well, wait a second, they have COVID. You got to stop them right now. You got to knock them at their knees. We control these borders. And I'm just like, what? It's very, very frustrating. The whole situation is so many double standards. I don't know what the hell. But we have to take these comments because they're kind of coming in. Let me go up to the top. If you can, let me see. We can start from here and just go down.
All right. Here. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hey.
Hi. Hello. Hey, cash money, money, money. Oh boy. And we have last week in the news, I saw a Black man being beaten by white men on horseback. White men putting their dog to bite a Black man. Black man being shot and killed by the hands of law enforcement.
Yeah, definitely we get treated definitely different.
And probably the only good thing that has came out of Trump's love that mouth in the past 5 years, Liz. It's the same conversation over and over with no end in sight. Our grandchildren would be having the same conversation and their grandmother the same. That's so true.
I think that was a continuation of the previous comment. So yeah.
Okay. And Haitians are not welcome, but Afghans are. Let's call it what it is. Black get back.
Yeah. Yeah. The darker you are, the harder it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. And to add,
go ahead, Spec.
No.
Okay.
I was saying those two things are totally like separate type of things, totally. But Haitians just have a special thing because of their revolt, and then the colonizers were like,
"We're gonna touch on it. Don't come there for me now. We're gonna touch on it. We're gonna touch on it because they the truth. That's what it is. Because they don't play with the white man. Go ahead. No, one second.
But
let's
I'm sorry.
these
What?
comments.
Okay.
But let's read these comments real quick. Let's read these comments.
Then we have to add on to what Spec said about the GOP moving in lockstep. The moment one of them steps out of line, they bury them. Look at Liz Cheney.
Yeah. As soon as Cheney, excuse me, came out saying the opposite, they tried to murder her.
Right. And all the Democrats are like her. So when they have one of her, they just cut them off.
And Alistair, we are at the bottom of the barrel. We don't even get out and vote. If we don't have anyone in the highest offices to be a part of the conversations that matter, instead we're on a podcast. Ooh.
I gotta reread this comment. I gotta reread that comment again. We are at the bottom out to vote. And if we don't have anyone in the highest offices to be a part of the conversation that matters, instead we're on a podcast. Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
But you want to know what, for me, and it's so true again, but way past that, it's like without that chaos, there is no order and hierarchy. Regardless of what system you look at, there's always the bosses, the one that, you know, makes the decisions, the ones that you have to try to get to. Even though it looks like we have people fighting for us, I don't really think they're fighting for us. And I don't think we're fully understanding that. It's not about us. Like Liz said, if we really came together, it's over for them. Why would they want that? The system to keep us divided is purposeful. If it's not through internalized racism, it's through sexism, ageism. If it's not through a vaccination of being wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, being vaccinated, it's all purposely designed. And we keep thinking we're going to have that support from people that are not put in a system to support us.
I have a question for the audience listening now and in the future. How do you guys feel about immigration? Do you feel that we need to welcome more immigrants into the country, or we need to really truly secure the borders? Because I can say this, when they say, oh, there's been rapes and there's been homicides and this, there are murders everywhere. But yes, there are people that come across and they do commit crimes. Nothing that's a complete, totality. You can't put everybody in the same boat, like all Mexicans, all Haitians, all this. But go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
So I wanted to look into that, right? Because the argument is one of the arguments, happens to be the crime rate. So 2012 to 2018, there was an analysis done in Texas which showed U.S. citizens were twice as likely to be arrested for violent felonies, 2.5 times more likely to be arrested for felony drug crimes, and over 4 times more likely to be arrested for felony property crimes. This is versus immigrants, and this was published by the University of Wisconsin Madison researchers.
And that's a great statistic, and thanks for sharing that. But at the end of the day, if you was the parents of a victim who got raped by a legal immigrant, you don't want to hear not one statistic. You're like, fucking secure that goddamn border. So I wanted to ask a question to the audience. How do they feel? Because guess what? Let's just I hear the argument a lot for Mexicans. Like, man, more Mexicans coming in, they're going to take all the jobs, right? But are they taking all the jobs? They're taking jobs we don't want to do. I don't know too many people who want to go start picking lettuce and be in the hot fields and these different things. Go ahead, Liz.
Let me in, Coach. I mean, am I tripping? But I thought last month's news was all about all the companies that are complaining that no one wants to work and that they're having to close their businesses because they don't have employees, and that all the Americans are sitting at home collecting their millions of dollars of unemployment benefits. But then somehow it's the same folks that when these people are coming, it's like, but the jobs, the jobs, I'm confused. What the job? Because there's a for hire sign on every building that you pass.
You are not lying.
Racetrack is giving you bonuses if you if you took the application. Really, the jobs. Okay.
So
Wait,
go ahead.
real quick, Liz. Just to add on to that, if we're talking about immigrants, right, and we're talking about their, the not legal status, what jobs are they getting without social security numbers?
Off the
So,
book,
Right.
yeah.
Start there.
how are they taking people's jobs without that info? What are they doing?
They're
Yeah.
not. That's the point.
Right.
They're not.
Here's
Never
the
have
kicker.
been.
So
They debunked that a long time ago.
if
A lot of jobs were being lost to AI.
That part.
so
A lot
if
of jobs are being lost to AI.
into the country, if a person comes into a country illegally, so let's just say you fled your country because you were trying to seek asylum. Terrible crimes were happening in the neighborhood and these things. So you left, you fled, you and your wife and the baby, and you're homeless or whatever the case may be. And the husband decides to get some work because he needs work. He has to feed the kids and the wife. And he takes a job illegally. Once he's entered the United States illegally, as opposed to not properly doing his paperwork, you cannot apply for a green card from the United States. So everything that you've done now is null and void. So yes, you snuck in, you've been working now for 1 whole year. You're able to, get your babies and your wife some food and this and this and this, but everything is under the table. And yes, you're not worried about the crime because guess what? You left someplace even worse. But now you've gotten caught. And you're like, well, wait a second. My wife didn't do nothing. My son didn't do nothing. I was the one working illegally. That whole family is now going exiled and they cannot reapply the right proper way. So it's a lot of different stipulations. Now it's unfortunate. The process can take up to 2 to 3 years with paperwork that is actually correct. But here's the kicker with money. Mm-hmm. There was the first lady, she had her parents, right? Mm-hmm. And her parents needed these documentations, right? And she skipped the line. So as you can clearly see, based on who you are and how much money you have, things can go a lot faster for you.
But Kia, she was a supermodel. That's an essential skill.
Yeah, I mean, you got good, I suppose.
Yeah. It was a super talent and an essential skill that we absolutely needed in this country.
Right.
And she wouldn't have been nearly as talented or nearly as productive in her essential work without her family being by her side.
But you could clear, but that's the thing that's just a slap in the face, though. We all know that we do things for people who have some high value if that label's attached to them. A VIP, we make a way. So you're waiting in line, the VIP comes with more money, paid a little bit more, and they skip past you while you've been waiting in line at the amusement park for 2 hours to get on a roller coaster. I pay a little bit extra than you. They walk right in front of you and you're like, damn, I got to spend another 15 minutes in line. That's the way the world works. If you pad the money, then you'll be able to go ahead and do what you have to do. But unfortunately, the actual process within itself to get your true citizenship takes a couple of years, and it's not as cut and dry. So let's go to this comments real quick because they're just pouring in again.
Cash says it's all competition over resources. Before finding Black people, white people exploited other white people. Competition and tribalism is as old as man.
That is very true. Whites were against whites. You had the poor whites versus the rich. Yeah.
It still do. That hasn't changed.
Right.
All things changed now. Is the poor whites? They are part of the upper class, and they're not. They're just not, and it's amazing to see that.
No,
and it was funny. And growing up in DC, it was funny. I heard the term poor white trash, but in DC there are no poor white people. So I didn't know what that was. So I remember I was like 21. I was in Baltimore, and this guy I was working at the Gap, and this guy was like, "You must be rich," and I looked at him. And then I looked at his daughter, and she's in the Pampers, and it's like 30 degrees outside, playing on the sidewalk with no pants on, in a diaper. And I was like, I'm looking at him, and I was like, oh my God, is that what that is? Poor white trash? I ain't say it to him. I was thinking because we didn't like growing up in DC. You have poor Black people, but there are no poor white people. So, but all these conversations I had with white people talking about poor white people, they would laugh and I would laugh, but I didn't know what they were talking about. Then,
Mm.
but at that point, it hit me like, oh my God, that's what they were talking about. Because they talk so down about poor white people, but I never really got it until I actually met a poor white person.
Mm. So we got Cash that says, go ahead, Ty.
The question then, Kia, is should there be countries?
I guess in reference to just people just coming over, doing whatever they want to do.
And then Alistair, just another dog whistle, job my ass.
Right.
And as an African American, immigration is harmful to my group. It's not just low skill labor, it's construction and all kinds of skilled trades as well that we have to compete for.
Well, here's the kicker. So that's the thing that troubles me, because once again, if the system was set up correctly, right, you would see the immigrants come in and they really would be competing against you. So right now, Liz is going to go, she has her application in hand, her resume, and she's going for that position at the front desk. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, man, who am I competing with while she's in the waiting room? And she sees a whole bunch of other people from not even, this country, and they take her job. But that's not what these people are competing for. Like the jobs that I see the immigrants take are the house cleaning jobs. Like I said, labor, like they out in the heat.
The construction jobs.
The farming jobs. And here's the kicker. Let's just say you took all those immigrants and you put them right back where they came from, right? I don't see any Black people signing up at the Best Western Inn, at the Howard Johnson, at this and this, at the farmer's market to be picking something. We've been picking enough. That is really confusing to me, Cash. Go ahead, Liz.
So, all right. So here's something that everybody on the panel is from a city. So I'm pretty confident you guys have not seen what I'm about to describe, that I saw with my own eyes for the first time and could not wrap my mind around, right? So I live in South Carolina, and in South Carolina, there's this area, it's called the Low Country, right? It's just a bunch of little islands in like Beaufort County, and it's, like literally hundreds of little islands. So one of those little islands has what I can only describe as storage units. So I want you to picture just one level storage units where the gates come down and go up, and they're small though, like the size of if you stood a twin size bed upright, that's the entryway. And that's it. And I never thought anything of it. It's farms. It's clearly farmland. And I'm talking about rows and rows and rows of crops, right? Let's go with tomatoes, right? And I never thought anything of these storage units. I just assumed that it had to do with farming. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's farms and it's farming. And then one day I was on one of these islands and stopped at this 7-Eleven, and a school bus rolled up with no school children on it. Just a lot of very short people with round faces that did not speak English, right? And they all go into the 7-Eleven, and they were being timed. And you could hear them, because I speak Spanish, so I could hear them saying, we only have 2 minutes to get back on the bus. Hurry up, we have to get back on the bus. And they're barely whispering. Like this was not loud. They were, it was almost like a terrifying to watch them. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? So naturally, I had to do a little more investigating. So I asked one of them, I was just like, hey, where you guys from? And they're like, don't talk to her. And it was like this whole, and everybody kind of shuffled away from me. Like I felt like a leper. I was like, what, do I smell bad? What's going on, right? Anyway, they hustled. They got their little whatever they needed from the 7-Eleven, and they were back on the bus. Okay. I asked around. Nobody in town could tell me anything about these people, where they came from. Well, it turns out they live in these storage unit looking things. And in each one of those little rooms, there's bunk beds where they house 4 to 6 of them in these little rooms. And that is the only thing in there is these bunk beds. They come here, and it is in fact modern indentured servitude. And by the way, it's tied to very big companies that we all know, that we all buy their products. And because I don't want to get the podcast shut down, I won't start naming them. But I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. So what they do is they go to, and I've met the people now that managed to escape. Do you hear me using the word escape? In 2021, that managed to escape from this, right? So what these companies do is they go to the grocery store, pick one of those companies and put it in your mind. They'll go to, say, Honduras, and they'll tell these people, we will give you $5,000 US to come and work on our farm for a year. Now, $5,000 to those people translates to tens of thousands of dollars in their money. They trip all over themselves taking that money. And by the way, they don't verify ages. Some of these people come over here, they take these little contracts where they're going to work on a farm for a year for $5,000. They're 13 years old. But they are not considered a part of the economy. These people are not regulated. It is exactly like indentured servitude. They come here, they can only stay on their compounds. They cannot go to school. They cannot have children. If they get sick, they get sent home. They do not get medical care. They do not get anything. If they drop dead in the field, who even knew they were here? No one knows. They die. They have babies in the fields and keep working. Just exactly like the images that we have of slavery from back when. That is happening today in the United States on American soil from these people. And by the way, that's legal migration because these companies got permission to go over there and get 250 workers for this farm. They're not getting paid anywhere near any type of minimum wage, but they're not allowed to interact with us. If they get caught talking to us, they get sent home immediately. If they try to run away, you understand me using the word run away? Take it literally. Run away. It's crazy. So of course I drove down the road to see what it is. And in the daytime, you see them out there in 100+ degrees working the fields, exactly like you would think it is in your mind if you pictured slavery. That's a real thing that's happening today. Those jobs we do not want. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if we wanted to correct it and we wanted Americans to work those jobs, it would cost us $5 for a head of lettuce. And who could afford that?
Well, I'm going to skip one of the comments and we'll go back to one of the comments, but it ties into what we're talking about here from what Cash is continuing to say.
He said a guy was recently on the radio saying he was suing Disney. Disney brought in a bunch of engineers from India and laid them off, and he had to train his replacement or no severance. Mm-hmm. And the idea that immigrants only do jobs nobody wants, like agriculture, is just not true.
Well, here's the thing that's the difference. So when you have those individuals that Liz was talking about, versus the guy at Disney with the suit and tie on. That Indian guy, he has his actual working papers, a visa, working visa. Maybe he has his green card. Maybe he just sworn and now he's an official U.S. citizen. Yeah. You know, when you say, hey, when the companies, and you know, I work for a corporate entity, when the company says, you know what, we're going to go hire 1,000 Black people, you know, people of color. And we're like, yay, they did it. 1,000 Blacks, you know, it may not be truly African Americans. It could possibly be Nigerian, Indian, Latino. I mean, as long as they're brown of tint, then hey, there's a spot here for us. But at the end of the day, I do understand that when it comes to African Americans, if you're hiring 900 Indians with their papers, it still pushes the average African American back down the totem pole. I mean, the company did what they said they were going to do. We hired the 1,000 brown people. Now, what you were talking about, Liz, is like a sweatshop on steroids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like here's a little carrot, and that's all you're going to get for a year. And these are, you know, this is the conditions that you're faced with. And those jobs, the agricultural jobs, the housekeeping jobs, are the ones that that's the ones that the media is showing. That's the one they say, well, look, our brothers and sisters here, Black people don't want them jobs. You know, so that's the reason. So I think the spin on how people are interpreting immigration, it can be warped because, like you said, the guy that's suing Disney, those people that are working for Disney, they have their papers. They're not, you know, if somebody's in the IT department, they can pull out their little green card and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. I think it's two different situations, Cash, when it comes to that. Let's go back because I know I skipped one. Very much.
Humble Lion, colonizers hate Haiti. They probably behind those earthquakes. Ooh, wow.
I'm snapping my fingers. Humble Lion.
Don't bring her down that hole.
Well, here's the kicker.
Oh, Lord.
Haiti has been being tortured ever since they revolted.
Yep.
They have been paying their abuser, the colonizer, the French. Yep. They've been paying them reparations. How the fuck does that work? How is it that you enslaved me I kick your ass. You go back home, and now I gotta pay you.
Mm-hmm.
The Haitians, and now here's the kicker about Afghanis, because the Afghanis who have helped in during the 20-year war, like, hey, we got to do something for them. They helped us, right? A war that should have even been popping, but okay.
Mm.
So they find their families, they find whoever they can hit, and they're trying to take them out as much as fast as they can. Well, the issue with that is the spin the media is putting out there is that they helped America. Well, here's a lesson, Sherlock fucking Holmes. The Haitians have helped America in so many freaking ways. I put a thing on the Facebook page, the Unfiltered Facebook page, and it literally is talking about all the things that Haitians have contributed in reference to the revolutionary, how we got our revolution. The Haitians also helped in the revolution of this country. So you can't say, well, you know what, we're going to help the Afghanis because of the 20-year. Well, shit, without us giving them money, because at one time Haitians were wealthy at one time, and we gave America money to fight off the British. So are we getting some payback for that? Or are we just going to put that to the side in the history books? Oh, that's right. We rewriting history. That's what it was. I'm sorry.
Come on, we can't get past January 6th of this year, Kia. We can't get that right. You want to
get right? And that was televised. That was on live TV.
Are you talking about that tour that happened?
Yeah, the famous tour.
Yeah, the tour.
Yeah,
don't get me started. Thank you, Humble Line, because
it's the same again. It's the same border, right? So when they start talking about the Hispanic people and how they're crossing the border into what was their land, isn't that the Haiti story all over again, right? Because New Mexico is not new. It's old Mexico. They just named it again. That's all they did. There's nothing new about New Mexico, right? And so Arizona sounds nicer in English, but I promise you that was not Arizona's name, nor was it Texas, nor was it California, nor was it anything. They came, and it's the same story over and over, right? I mean, it's Haiti, it's the Native Americans, it's Central America, and just like Haiti never backed down, because honestly, they don't want no piece of Haiti. Let me tell you something. If they really don't, right?
So,
don't.
I had to pull it up just so I can have it for context purposes. Yep. During the late 1700s, Haiti was the richest colony in the world, making more money than the entire Spanish Empire. When the U.S. was battling against the English during their revolution, France, after making their wealth off of Haiti, they gave $9 billion to the U.S. in assistance. This money was instrumental in the winning of the war. Without Haitian money, there would have been no USA independence. France used Haiti as a transit point to send military aid to America during its Revolutionary War to support of the American patriot cause. The gunpowder used in the famous U.S. Battle of Saratoga came from Haiti. So if we want to sit and talk about the contributions that Haitians have done to support the United States, they're there in the books. But it's really crazy how we just completely forget all this.
It's not crazy. Again, we know that it's perfectly orchestrated to fit their agenda and their narrative. But hold on.
And we sit here on a damn podcast talking.
Yeah, but let's be clear. What boss or CEO, however they got there, do you know is going to allow their competition to come in and go to war and try to take their spot? You're not letting in people that you already know you don't want to go head to head with. No, you gonna keep them out. I need order. I'm the man. This again, it's not rocket science. It's the hierarchy. It's this is who they are. They don't want to lose that power. Any shift in a chaotic dynamic amongst all people, ages, groups is going to, and it doesn't benefit them, it's going to be a problem.
I got one thing to say that we'll jump back into the comments. So Haiti is so poor. Haiti has all the natural resources taken out. They're stripped. They're paying reparations to another country. You know, some people, because you know, if you already know, and I said I will never on this podcast, I will never spend 1 cent in Dominican Republic because of what they do to their neighbors, their brethren. They're basically brothers and sisters. But if you were born in DR
Mm-hmm.
and you have Haitian descent, even if you're from Haiti, you just was born there. They literally were pulling people out of their homes and beating them and sending them back. You're like, wait a second, how are you kicking me out of my home? The way they treat Haitians is just despicable. That's a whole nother topic besides immigration. But my question is, why the fuck is the Chinese there? Why are they drilling? How many natural resources are we still?
That's what I was about to go with. Yes. So we on the same right? So I'm gonna throw a wrench in this and to give you a completely different spin, right? So we are right, and you know, I never malign my own, if you would, you know what I mean. But here we are, dumbass Americans, right? Still talking about, you know, oh my God, keep them out the country, borders and walls and horses and whips. Yo, China, Russia, they moved on a long time ago. They're not building walls. They're not trying to keep people out. What they're doing, they're in Africa. Get that?
Yeah.
Whole nother conversation, girl. Don't go there with me now.
All right. China
don't go there with me now.
America. China is all over the place. What are they doing?
Yep.
Building up alliances with those people on our front door. Like, make no mistake, China's not doing it because they're so nice. They don't love Mexicans so much, right? They don't have a sudden affinity for Africa. You know what I mean? First of all, they are strategically positioning themselves for anybody in the world to try to bring it. They are already there. They are building it.
Wait, we're going too far. We're going too far. Let's get to the comments because you're over here you sparking up the fires.
Wait a minute. For everyone who's on here, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you love what we do, we're on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you.
So we can help this little podcast grow because clearly the politicians ain't fucking listening. I'm sorry.
Yes, tell it, Liz. Exactly. Liz has been on tonight. And oh my God, Lord help us. Thanks, Liz, for that share.
I think that
was a reference to that story.
Yeah. And then also in the Asian communities, I witnessed and was told by a coworker at a well-known Chinese buffet in Brooklyn, it's heart-wrenching what they endure. And then personally, the idea of countries is a racist construct. You have these wealthy majority white countries created and they decide who gets in and out. U.S. citizenship becomes a lottery ticket. Yep.
Yeah.
Highest bidder for the most part. And yes, Kia, someone needs to explain it. I'll wait.
And then she explained. And then she did.
And Texas.
You see Mexico.
Yeah.
We could just go on and on.
And then this info is definitely missing in our school system.
And then that way. And you have
definitely.
Wait a minute. No.
Go theory.
Go to the next comment because they continued on this one.
I'm sorry.
And freely commented said, or should I say just not taught? Because there is a difference. We need to do that continuation.
And then we have the hand emoji. That
part.
I think that was Liz's thing. She was getting it in. And China don't allow any immigration. They in full competition mode.
No, but they're not allowing, they don't allow immigration into their country, right? But what they're saying, when they say they don't have enough jobs for their people, they go to other countries and create the goddamn jobs. Right? Yeah. So, and now we have to think about that, right? If we were more strategic, instead of talking nonsense about Haitians and Mexicans and Hondurans and everything else, right? Those same jobs that we keep saying that we want, how about we put an Amazon factory in Honduras, in Guatemala, and put Americans in management roles? See, those are jobs for Americans in other people's countries. But you know what we also do? We help those people out because we create jobs for them, and maybe they can stay the fuck home.
I have a question. You guys know that sometimes I be new to all this political stuff, so I'm still learning. So I'm gonna ask a question like, when you allow people in per se, regardless if it's a legal status or non-legal status, and I'm not talking about the ones that are in the sweatshops and stuff like that, but don't they get money and then they actually put it into communities that they live in, which is beneficial to the rest of us? And then they also come together and build companies for, like, they do yard work and stuff. Like, from a lot of what I've seen, don't they actually
Well, there's a
why
lot.
would you
That's a like some people come here and they'll work and they'll huddle together, but they send their money back home.
Yeah.
So they live less here. There'll be 4, 5, 6 to a room, but there's a discipline with that, and they'll take that money and send it back home. Because like if you ever go to like a grocery store, any place that has a Western Union, if you hang around the Western Union, you see a lot of people speaking different languages come in and damn near send checks. That whole check, you be like, damn, how much you send it?
But
And
they're
they send it back
still
home.
living here, regardless if they're
Yeah,
sending money, they still have to pay rent. They're
right.
still paying for gas and cars. They're still
You're not putting
buying
money in the
food.
community. I was saying like they're still living. They're living basically. So
Right,
think
to
like
ship
so
out.
think of your life and take all the fun and take all the fun, take out the like the movies, the whatevers, the clubs, take all that out. You eat, you sleep, you wake up, wash your ass, and do it again. And you take the rest of that money and send it back home. So that's what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they're disciplined. So when they go back home, they have a house, they have this, and it's paid for, so they can do that.
I would take it a step further. I mean, every individual from another nation that has another background besides per se being American, they value family much, much more than we do.
Yes.
They honor their family much, much more. Not saying they don't have difficulties in their family. Everybody does, right? Who has a crazy Uncle Leroy or something? But with that being said, yeah, right. But with that being said, they just value the whole unit. Everything circles within. There is no type of like the competition is not there. The competition is with you guys, the Americans.
Right.
So they see an opportunity. America has more freedoms and opportunities to make money, not per se restrictive rules compared to these other countries. Let's take this time. Let's build our family nuclei. Let's get other houses like the Indians. They very, very tight knit. Afghanistan people, Pakistani people, Spanish people, very, very tight knit. You're not going to see a Hispanic neighborhood just pick up and start shopping in the black neighborhood. They stay within them. You'll have a one-off. Right. Oh yeah, I like that FUBU shirt if that people still wearing that. You know, oh I like those this and this. But they spend their money. Those they like their arroz con pollo and all this other stuff. They're eating it there. They're not going to the soul food thing. And what I mean by that, and that's what it hurts us, because you have all these other nationalities come through, and once again I mean it's so sad, but we always get pushed down the totem pole when it comes to the growth of our community and different things. I mean, just in a totality speaking, we
do that.
Well,
we do that to us. They don't do that. They don't do that to anybody.
Right.
No, we do it to ourselves.
Right.
But
First,
we don't have the condition. They've been trained. You can talk to any Spanish person. They don't play that stuff with abuela and all that. They keep that shit in house. We quick to curse out.
Right.
Real quick.
But but here's the thing. We have the discipline of spending the money. We just choose not to spend it with us. There's a lot of conditioning with that, and we can blame other people. I'm not that kind of person. I blame me for my mistakes. Mm-hmm. So I don't accept black people saying the man. Shut up. Mm-hmm. Get your ass together. Spend your money where you can, because you can research it. Stop making excuses. Mm-hmm. We all hurting. We all black. What the hell? So stop.
But you will see that.
But no, right. No, people cry off of laziness all the time. I get that. I meet lazy people all the time. I just don't listen to them. I just don't listen to them. Stop fucking crying. fix it. You can fix it, spend your money. But I tell people like this: find a Jewish friend, shut up, hang around his family, right? I worked at a black-owned radio station. I'm not gonna say the name of it, right? And um, right before the owner bought a TV station, I used to hang around management. The company was black-owned, Jewish ran. So you had two black heads, but everybody else was Jewish, and every dollar we spent was in Jewish companies. Every truck we bought, every T-shirt we got printed, everything went through Jewish money. And I saw it, and I was impressed. I was like, "Geez!" They were like, "Oh no, go to him. No, go to him. No, go to him." But I'm mad at that. So I learned. I was like, "Oh, that's how you keep the money flowing. That's how you do it."
Kia.
I got a rat tail coming.
No, boo, no.
I'm trying to get it. Can I get it? So without saying any names, I work for a huge financial corporation. Huge. Super huge. Do you know how quick it is for an African American with moderate credit to get a loan compared to an immigrant who has his papers to get a loan? Let's just say they both have a credit score of 700. Credit score 700, both of them, right? One's an immigrant and one's not an immigrant. I will tell you that is easier said than done. So you're saying right here, hey, I don't want to hear that shit. Get your lazy ass up and work, and you better get those shops. You better do for your community and this and this. Well, sir, I want to say, because I work for a huge financial institution, the denial letters are huge. And it's not about, oh, well, maybe because he got his credit, right? No. Because the banks automatically have a system where it's set up to discretionarily deny.
Yeah.
So now you have the Asian immigrant, the Mexican immigrant, the Indian immigrant come in. They want to open up their store, their corner store. But I want to open up my corner store. They will get approved 10 times faster than us.
Let's even talk about buying
but see,
a house.
that has always been the case. And we have still overcome. But see, here's what you do. Here's what we've always done. I'll run my stuff out of my house. I'll save my money and I'll buy it. I'll buy it in cash. Look at everything we've had built, and then sometimes it got built, like burnt up or burnt down or blown up, right? We didn't get that money from banks. We got the money because we saved it. That's always been the case. We've been black since we've been black. That's not a new thing. Discrimination to us is not a new thing. We have never been treated the same, and we still succeed. There's always a way. Like if you want to go this way, I get that.
But we can agree that there's a system put in play.
I've already said that. I started with that. But that's not an excuse. I was born into that. I don't know any difference. And here's the thing. If you was born into hard times, that's all you know. Then you build from that. Now, like if you were born with money and then you lose it all, then you don't know. Then you're just like, what am I doing? What's going on?
Liz is dying to talk. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just me. It's just if I don't make it, y'all, it was real. Okay. So can I play devil's advocate? And it won't be popular. I understand, but I'm going there anyways, right? So how about just 3 minutes ago in this same conversation on this same podcast, we spoke about how immigrants will live 4 or 5 people in a house and they will work collectively and they will save collectively. Now here, if it were your bank and your institution, your financial institution, right? And you had to assess your risks, right? Now, let me tell you this, right? Black Americans are quick to floss when they've got their Chanel and their Louis Vuitton and all their European designers. So now if you had a choice between same income level, think about it, right? You're talking about 2 families, they have the same income, right? Each family's making $100,000 each, right? Easy, right? But this family, they don't spend their money on bullshit, right? And this family, they got the flyest cars and they dripping from head to toe. They make the same income. You cannot tell me that you're taking the same risk and expecting the same rewards when you invest in those two different communities. One of them, you know for damn sure they ain't never gonna foreclose, and you know these other people are just gonna keep buying and buying and buying shit that they should not be supporting first. Then they have no business. Yo, when's the last time Louis Vuitton came and did anything in the hood other than take your money?
This shit is fake. Oh, sorry.
Well, even the fact that they would
But the money they spending is real.
Because they can't afford thousands of dollars on reals, they'll spend hundreds of dollars on fakes instead of paying their mortgages first, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's everybody. I understand that's the stereotype, but just 5 minutes ago, we were acceptably talking about the stereotype. So let's keep that same energy when we start talking on a bigger scale, right? So if the stereotype is these people are going to save collectively, they're going to work collectively towards a goal, and they're going to get somewhere. If you're the person assessing the risk in that, and the risk in an entire community working towards the same goal versus this person hating everybody in their neighborhood and making sure they got the flyest everything, who are you going to invest in? Credit score be damned.
It's a
You might not like it, but it's the truth.
It's an actual computer system, but I don't want to go into the details of what the bank.
So Cash said, I wouldn't blame immigrants as they are just doing what's in their best interest, but I wouldn't say immigration is good for African American or does not affect African American. But if I had my say, we would move from a competitive world to a cooperative world where all people share and are cared for.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about that when, especially in the 90s, in living in California and those time frames in Compton, you would see like the Asian shops. They would be in the corner stores, of a Black community, so you're forced to go to those shops, to buy those products that you may need. And then at the same time, those individuals who are shopping at the shops don't per se have the money that they need. So they may be stealing. And then there's high crime rate. And then the agents will call. And then all this stuff is just built up. I would talk to immigrants and they say, the way African Americans, they live their lives is just so weird to them. They don't understand. And for me, it's frustrating because not everybody has the same accesses and the same tools as those immigrants.
Definitely.
You would say, well, no, yeah, they do. It's not as cut as dry as that. I mean, right now, for those Afghanian people that came over, there are some debacles with that. They are getting a stipend, but it's only going to last for a couple of months. And then they won't have any more monies coming in. The paperwork is still being looked at so they can get, some type of citizenship, temporary, that type of thing. But they have little camps set up for them. I don't know the exact numbers, so I do apologize. I can't quote you the exact numbers who came from over there. But at the end of the day, America has a way to help immigrants. America has a way to set up, little makeshift pods or whatever to give some decent humanity for individuals. People come over here for all different types of reasons, right? But when you see little babies, they don't understand what is going on, who is what. For you to take the baby and just put it over here. I mean, there are some babies now when the whole kids were in the camps and they didn't know where the parents were. If they didn't get claimed, they were getting adopted.
Right.
They all with some white family somewhere, never to see their parents again. It's so inhumane, regardless if you're a Democrat, Republican, and independent, whatever you are. The way the system's made up, just in a general sense, of people of color. The Spanish, the Haitians, the this, is just so inhumane for you not to care. You would treat your dog. If you seen white folks love their dogs so goddamn much. If you seen a dog getting beat with a rein or getting trampled, you know how much a horse fucking weighs, people? You could accidentally trample somebody. If you seen that happen to a dog, you would have all the PETA people come out and there'd be like a prayer session. There would be a GoFundMe page. You better donate now, you people, you savages. Who don't love them dogs?
You act like you didn't know that our lives were not worth that of a dog. This is nothing new.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Like
no. Yeah,
there were you weren't there, they had the signs, no Negroes allowed, but you allowed dogs.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the one of the comments that came in.
And there's enough resources on the planet to care for everyone, which is true, but it doesn't mean that they want to use them. That's the difference.
Yeah. No, no, that's
People are
not.
resources, and we keep forgetting that we are resources. If you don't think that, even just, I'm talking about just the four of us, right? If somebody were to actually put us in a think tank and say, how do we solve these problems? Like, think about the resources that could just come out of, I'm talking about the four of us, let alone 4
Yeah.
million of us. We are resources. The problem is we fail to see that in ourselves. I feel like that's the biggest issue that we have. And again, I'm going way back to the beginning of the conversation. As a collective, we need to
Yeah.
get over bullshit. We need to start seeing through the smoke screens and the division. We need to stop subscribing to the division ourselves, right? I am so sick of not only them deciding that they're apart from us, but us deciding that we're apart from each other. We're our best resource as humans, let alone we can't go back and get back the cane fields. We can't go back and get back the gold and the diamonds and everything else that they've taken. But damn, the one thing they haven't taken is this. For each and every one of us, we have that. We just insist on this division, and it's illogical.
I think the reason why we insist on it is because you have a population, and for numbers' sake, let's lowball. If it was a 1 million people in the world, you have a small population who have hope, right? And we're all one. We should all just love. But it seems as the years are going by, that 25% is just getting smaller and smaller. I will talk to people and it's like falling on deaf ears. And I'm like, damn, I must be in the struggle all by my damn self. I guess all I could think about is just me and my family because I don't know what the hell is going on. I mean, in your heart, you want to be able to look out for people. You want to be able to say, hey, we're all in this together. But in actuality,
we're being hardened. We have been trained over the years to be hardened and to become very disconnected. Before we were out in the streets, and now we're looking at things where we're not really present, and there's so many different things that's going on. It's sad. It's really sad. But we're all religious and we all care, and we have churches that allow homeless people and kids to go hungry and won't open their doors. You have to pay to be able to have a connection with God. I have to pay.
Yeah, that's a whole racket I don't even want to get into.
We're gonna get into that topic in October.
We'll get into that racket. Was it like was it like 75% of white evangelicals don't believe that police brutality is a thing or has ever been a thing?
Yeah, that's
so I saw that today. I was like on a news report, and I was like, but it makes sense. There's a disconnect. And they use religion, but it's always been a control thing. It's never been about God, because anybody that's ever listened to or read a teaching of Jesus in the Bible, and I'm not a Christian, would know that the stance that white evangelicals have is anti-Christ. Totally. Right. So it's amazing. So you're Christian, you follow Jesus, but the Jesus you follow would be anti everything you are. Do you not see that? So that's why being religion, I'm just like this. Okay.
I have a question. This is for the audience too, if you could chime in. For the actual current issue at hand, what you're seeing on TV, you see it was up to 14,000 Haitians that were under that bridge in the makeshift camps. Are we blaming the Biden administration? And if so, would you still vote for him if election was tomorrow?
Ooh.
Ty, Liz, Specs.
Yep, I still vote for him. Lockstep.
All day.
Okay.
Lockstep. Because if not, you vote for Trump. So you either you don't, and there's no ambiguity there. So people are like, well, I'm not. No. You either had the gun.
I didn't say Trump would be the one that he was competing against. Just
No, 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 no.
Let's be
But
realistic. We know
there's a fake
what's
choice.
coming up.
There's the fake choice right there. See, that's how people skate with I support like police beating on black people, but I'm not racist because that's the fake choice. So there's only two choices. You only doing this and this. You don't get a third choice. So the fake choice is I'm not racist, but cops should be able to kill black people because black people are bad, but I'm not racist.
Oh, because
Fake choice.
Home. The cops are just trying to make it home, Specs.
so at the end of the day, I'm going to put the blame on us because if we got Biden into the office. We did. African American women actually did, but okay, black men too. But he was failing in the polls. Ain't nobody want to know Biden. Half the time he looked like he's asleep. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Are you sleeping? You awake? Come on, somebody give him some energy. With that being said, I think that we have to hold them accountable. I think
definitely.
It's the perfect time now that Biden may not run for next term, but Kamala is, looking possibly to say, hey, you want this? You need to put all these steps in right now ahead of time. So
but hey, there's always Trump. Trump 2024.
But here's the thing. You can say, but then they're going to ride on that because if you say, you know what? Hey, there's Trump or there's me. Well, shit. We're back in the same square boat that we had.
Not at all. Not at all. They're not comparable. They're not comparable. They're not comparable.
Accountable.
Right. No, you can hold somebody accountable, but you can still stay locked up.
How are we holding somebody accountable?
Okay.
All right. So here's what. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Liz. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So first of all, let's talk Biden for just a moment, right? And Biden said he said he was only running for one term, but let's just say it came down to Biden Trump again. Biden all day. First of all, yes, we see the images of what's going on at the border, and I am not by any means trying to sound inhumane, right? But how, other than your feelings, how has that affected you in your house, in your pocket today? Now, before you answer that, because it hasn't, let me be clear. All the people that are weighing in on how much they don't approve of what's happening at the border, let me tell you things that they do approve of. They approve of those checks that keep getting deposited in their accounts for the last 3 months. That directly hit people that really needed it. There's families that are eating off that extra $250, $300 a month that they've been getting. It affected all the people that I personally know that their student loans have been just wiped off the books. I know those people. Right? That's a real thing that is affecting real people, affecting real us that went to predominantly schools that are predatory to the Black community or minority communities that the government is saying those were bullshit loans that should have never been approved. Let's erase those. That's the Biden administration. The Biden administration also got rid of the rule that said if you ever had a drug conviction, you can't get financial aid. How much did that help anybody in the Black community that's willing to go back to school to invest in themselves? So I'm sorry about the border crisis, but my home crisis is being taken care of. And for that reason, I will vote again and again and again for the side that seems to give a fuck about me other than just maligning me and my people all day. Done.
This is my little, my rat tail comb. I'm so ghetto. Look at it.
You like this? What? She making that part right now.
So we're going to get to the comments in a second, but I have to correct you in reference to the student loan part in regards to the one that you went to a fucked up school and you wasted. It was actually the Obama administration that, because you could have had it's easier now. But the Obama administration implemented that, which I know people have been affected from, and they've been able to clear their student loans up if they went to a for-profit school and things shitted on them. And it's so unfortunate that they went through that. I can tell you that I made more money with the Trump administration. So based on what we're talking about, if we're talking about the family, your actual household, not your friends and associates and cousins and all that, but just your own house, Trump helped me more than Biden is doing now. Just right now. Would I vote? I didn't vote for Biden based off financial gain. I voted for Biden because Trump was a fucking crazy man. Like, he was about to push the button and we all die. I think that we have an opportunity to truly hold the Democratic party accountable. Like I said, I am an independent. Based on the topic that we talk about, I can be conservative. I can be democratic, liberal about. But with that being said, I don't think that we should tone a blind eye to what's happening, because
Exactly.
guess for you, it may not be a situation, but I have plenty of Haitian friends. I live in Florida just like you do, and my like, wait, that's my so and so, that's my cousin, that's my this. If you seen your Uncle Louis or whoever getting beat by a whip and this, you have an issue.
Yeah, but I don't blame Trump or Biden for that. They didn't do that. That was in there. That's policing that's been there probably before Biden was even born. So I'm not even really blaming them for.
The only one here with military background, but at the end of the day, when it comes to leadership, if the last person fucked up and now you are in charge,
that's not.
Right. It's not your
fault. Well, I understand that, but that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't. Police are local. Police are local. No. I'm saying police are local. You're saying that the cop that shot my cousin, that was Trump. Like, no. That was police and that policing was there before Biden was vice president, when he was a senator, before he was born. I'm saying let me finish my point. So that was an instance that popped up and it was like, wow, then that police did that. So for that, I could blame every president for every police, because that's nothing. Those whips, I've seen cops do worse than that in person. That was nothing, for real. So, but then I'm blaming every president ever for that, for the cop that I seen beat up my boy and smack and beat the shit out of him. No, that doesn't work. Right. So that's a stretch. I can't even make that stretch. But I'm saying, but he's just convenient because he's president for the last 9 months.
And I promise I'm gonna get to the comments. So second, do you think? So let's just say Trump wasn't as vocal as he was, because he used Twitter, he used this. He would normally song and dance to get things out. So let's just say he wasn't as vocal as he was in reference to his policies and the things that he did. Would that change? Because right now, Biden is definitely more laid back. If he has something going on or if he fucked up about something, he's not going to.
He's more regular. He's more regular. Most presidents move like that. Most presidents don't move like Trump. We just got so caught up in the abusiveness and the loudness of Trump. You have to understand that most presidents have a press secretary. They don't come out every time and go to social media. We just got used to that craziness.
We got to go to these
what Biden is doing is like most presidents. That's how they usually move.
Normal. Nothing. Thank you.
Right. So Trump can't be the new normal. We cannot do that. We can't make that the new normal.
I'm sorry. I cannot. I'm not co-signing Biden. I'm not co-signing them. Okay.
Do some research. Okay, look at the last 5 presidents. Look at press secretaries and see how many press junkets they've done, and just look at their mannerisms. Even the ones Republicans and Democrats. And I've been in politics. I've been in politics since since '83. You want to
know what? Can anyone honestly look at all of the policies and laws that have been put in place by either side and say that they are happy with everything that they've seen?
No one ever. It'll never be a clean slate like that.
But like you were saying, Kia, like it just to piggyback. It's like what are you looking for? Some people are looking for that financial gain out of that, and then
what I'm looking for is for. So in these situations, social, because I know a lot of people who are in a lot of, bad social, economical situations. So the president, the leader, whatever have you, I'm looking for us as a group to literally say, if you want our vote, then you have to do these policies ahead in advance. We have the party right now. We have the House. We have the majority at this moment. I don't give a fuck if it was a penny, an inch, or whatever.
Yeah.
Let that shit slide through all the time. We do all this all the time. And then when it goes down, then we like, oh, we didn't know. We singing Kumbaya songs or whatever. We have
about that.
It is. We don't.
No, the problem is we can't see past the tip of our nose. They played a long game. Before that last guy left, he packed the courts. His choices are running this country right now. And what we're looking at is, oh my God, well, abortion rights were lost under Biden. Or, oh my God, look at these border patrol
but
agents.
It goes past it. You're stopping Liz at Trump. Well, he packed the courts.
Right.
Who was before Trump?
McConnell's been there for generations for whatever reason.
But there's a reason. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. We have a moment in time to finally hold people accountable. Like, we want this now. Yes,
right. But the pack of the wait. Hold up. What do you mean by hold up? Wait. So you saying? Just rewind that for a second. Who are you blaming for Trump packing the courts again? What?
No. So Trump packed the courts.
Right.
Prior to Trump packing the courts, who was their president?
Obama, and he had one pick.
They would not allow him.
So they would allow him to do that. So she mentioned Mitch McConnell. She mentioned Mitch McConnell, correct?
Right.
There's a reason why Mitch McConnell's in office, and he will not leave office, correct?
Right.
Correct.
There are policies in place making things a certain way, so now it's all trickling down. The reason why this is happening is because of this. If we started holding, I was about to say the MF. And we started holding people accountable from day one, we wouldn't get to this point now while we're on a podcast talking about this topic. Kamala will possibly be running. They want a Democratic leader in office in 2024. What are we going to do for that? What are they going to do for us to get a vote? We can't just hand them the vote and say, oh yeah, you know what? We just don't want a Republican, so you can still do whatever you want to do.
No, you can do both. You can hold somebody accountable and still be in lockstep.
How are we going to hold people accountable? That's my question. How?
Well, all right. So step back from that argument and look at the big picture. The bigger picture. So what's growing right now? Our numbers are changing. Like demographics are changing, and the progressives are growing. Right. So we still have like another generations of like Republicans and the old Democrat. The Republicans still have a stronghold, but they have a minority. The Democrats are split. So even though they have D's in front of their names, they're still split. So there's no real power there. So another 20 years, the people that are changing, the progressives will be the majority party of the Democrats and the majority. So right now, that's what's changing. So that is actually changing right now.
I hope so.
But here's the thing, and this is how media works. They're hoping that because that border was really nothing. People came over here, they wanted to come over, they humanely put them on planes and buses to say, okay, we're gonna process you, you can't stay here. Right? And they had a few pictures of somebody getting whipped. If that's the captain, then it's the mayor, then it's the council, then it's the governor. So it's not the president. So the president is way removed, and they're Republicans, and they're Republicans. But media's told you that's Biden, right? So now you got Democrats because the Republicans don't believe that, but now Democrats amongst themselves are like Biden for that, right? So you have that dissension. They will keep power in 2024. They will win the House back. They only need to win a few Senate seats and maybe the presidency, or even not the presidency, because if you lose the Senate and the House of Representatives, the presidency, as you saw in Obama, doesn't mean anything. So, and they're playing the long game, and they're playing. But see, that's what happens when you want to stay in lockstep and hold somebody accountable. Republicans hold each other accountable, kind of, sort of. They stay in lockstep. That's how a minority, with the poor states in the union, have a majority.
We're gonna go to the comments real quick. I wanted to say something, but I was like, I said during the comments. I'm sorry. This is such a good topic, though. I'm sorry.
It is. We need a part 2.
Oh, we do. We have I need for Black men to once again take a posture of protection of self, family, and hood. Yes. Freely commented.
Right.
And Biden, hell no. Actually, I'm considering not voting again because we keep getting slapped in the face.
Trump 24.
Lord have mercy, not voting. Oh my God.
Trump 24. Trump.
Not strong enough. Damn.
What she said, her drink not strong enough. Jesus.
No. Every time somebody says that, I remember when Hillary was running and people were saying, I'm not voting for her. I was like, you vote for Trump. No, I'm not. People have these fake choices. I'm like, you don't get to do that. Like,
No, you don't.
People stopped doing, like, when Hillary lost, I was like, I don't want to hear that no more. So just say you vote for Trump. I ain't mad at that.
What it is, I understand it though. So
Yeah.
I mean, I totally believe in voting. But at the same time, I understand the frustration.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because politics doesn't move as fast as you want it to move.
I mean, I knew people said that they voted for Obama just because he was black. Like, really? Like, forget about the fact of whatever policies. Just because he's black, you're in the voting line because he's black. So basically, what you're saying is he could be doing whatever. He can sell your soul to the devil. You like, well, he's black.
Men, women, and children.
I mean, we gotta educate ourselves. We gotta do better when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah.
And Specs is on point tonight. Yeah, Specs. They stole our unemployment over the summer, not having it. Sorry.
Nobody stole anybody's unemployment. Oh my God. Ooh, that's not immigration. I mean, not tonight. Nope.
And no black politicians except Maxine.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah. Water stood up. No churches or even Black Lives Matter marched. Nothing. What the hell?
Yeah, that's very frustrating on that. I mean, we're very, very as a whole. We're very choosy. You know, we when we want to jump on something, when we don't. You know, because a lot of people talk about that, and not to go off of immigration, but you know, when black on black crime, you know, it's huge, right? Not saying that we're not talking about the numbers of how often or whatever, but it's still a huge topic. You know, yes, we understand that police brutality is real, but you know, there's so many other things that we could be really impacting in reference to making a stance and protesting on. But nobody mentioned it except for Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters came out there with the big bullhorn. She was typing the mic. I'm pissed. I was like, okay.
That's funny.
And having the House doesn't mean much. We are tied in the Senate. For pretty much anything to be done, we need 60 votes in the Senate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You need that power. Lockstep.
At the end of the day, when you say that having the House doesn't mean much, if it didn't mean that much, we wouldn't be out there trying to get the seats. So we can do something more than what we have been doing.
And we barely have it now.
What he meant was we have the House, but if we don't have the Senate too, we got shit.
Yeah, I understood. Yeah. I understood that, but once again, we got to do better, people. Like I said, I had no idea how Biden was the last person on the Democratic whatchamacallit, and he ended up winning.
He was stability. Have you ever been in a relationship that was somebody that was abusive, that was loud, bipolar, and then you just met somebody that was regular?
Just vanilla as
hell. Just regular. You ain't got no body. You just regular. You live with the like sixth grade, but you know what? You regular. I'm gonna deal with you. I'm gonna marry you, and that happens a lot. And that's what America did. America was like this. You know what? You'll give head. You'll do nothing. I'm gonna still marry you. So that's what America did. America went basic. Basic. America just went basic. That's how bad Trump was. I just want basic. That's all. That's it.
And
just hold my hand. Just hold my hand.
No representation.
Yeah, one more time. One more time.
A lot of representatives, but no representation. If we had 60 votes, the majority of Democrats and Black people are moderates and not for the sort of radical change we need.
Yeah.
So here's something. I'm gonna go back a little bit, right? Because Kia mentioned, you know, if you don't know people that are Haitian and this, that, and third. Listen, when I mentioned the whole, you know, the border crisis is not directly impacting me at this moment, it wasn't because I did not care about it, right? That last heifer in the White House, she wore a jacket that says, I really don't care, do you? I do care. I genuinely care. care about the people on the border right now. I care about them being chased down on horses. I care about the children that were in the camps that we were talking about a little while ago. I care about the fact that the camp existed under the previous administration before the previous administration. So those are things that we need to talk about, right? But, and now make no mistake, right? Whereas you may know somebody that's Haitian or whatever the case is, I kind of snuck it in there. I don't know if anybody heard me. My mother literally swam that same border to get here. Right? My mother did. That's in my house. So did my aunt. So did my cousin. That's how the majority of my family that's here, the more recent ones, got here. Let's be clear, right? I also know somebody personally, firsthand. You want to talk about tying in all the issues, immigration, politicians, abortion. I personally know somebody that was raped by her coyote on the border. Right. And whether it's still up for debate, because it's a sensitive subject, so you can't really go into it. But she was perfectly normal on her way here. I saw the before pictures and I saw the after. But based on the trauma sustained from the rape and the beating that she got crossing the border illegally, she had to have an abortion. And somewhere in that, she permanently lost her hearing for life. So she had to have legal abortion on the Texas border where abortion was illegal because she was crossing illegally and was raped by the Americans that were taking advantage of her to get her here. And she was a teenager. Those are real things and those are real issues that need to be addressed. So make no mistake, I'm not saying that I don't care about what's going on the border. That is a in my house issue as well, right? But what I'm saying to you is if you had to choose between the guy that's cheering on the horses and the whips and the guy that's saying, you know what, I see it and it's wrong. Biden said, I see it and it's wrong. He also said, I'm the president. I take responsibility for it. The other guy is saying they did a good job. Kia, you played the tape. He said they're doing a good job. Why are they in trouble? The other guy said it's a problem. I'm working on it. Even if he doesn't do anything, at least he goddamn acknowledges a problem. The last guy's cheering them on. Who are you going to vote for? And not voting is not a goddamn option. Not voting is a part of the problem. Let's say what it is.
So I'll say this. In my opinion, it's the same monster, but with a different face. Trump and Biden can kick rocks. Really, they can, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that when you're picking and you're voting, there's the lesser of the two evils. Mm-hmm. But we can go. Now, we're talking about immigration, so we're going to stick to the fact of immigration. But if we went policy per policy and reference to different things, we can't look at Biden's thing like, nah, because in my household, since we're talking about households, the Valentine household, which is Ty's household, because we related, my family was affected by his policies because all my uncles and my father had to go through the incarceration in the judicial system. And that played a big impact on the women that these men had, the lack thereof. My black men had to play a hell of a role under the Biden, and he wasn't president. He wasn't even president. So all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, if they want to win, we have to go ahead and hold these people truly, not just have a little lip service on the podcast like, yeah, it is wrong, but truly somehow collectively say, you know what? This is what we're going to do. I know Ice Cube was under a lot of scrutiny because when he had questions, he had policies. I remember the guy, he has his own show, Big Head Podcaster. He's such a big head. I don't like him. I hope he hears this. Yeah, he wears the ascot all the time. Anyway, maybe what's his name?
Talking about. It'll come back. It'll come back.
Yeah. Anyway, he was ripping Ice Cube up. And he was basically saying, and what do you know about this? And you're a rapper, you just stay in your place and da-da-da-da. I'm like, nobody has a policy. We have all this, but he has the paperwork. He has something that you can look at. All he said was, so he gets scrutiny because the Trump administration said, hey, let Roland Martin, thank you, big head.
Okay. I was trying to figure out like who, what? Okay. Got it.
Says, you're a rapper, stay in your lane. The Trump administration said, let's look at the policy. Let me just look at it, right? Because you just gave props to Biden. You was like, hey, Biden said, I acknowledge it. At least he did something. Even if he don't do nothing, he acknowledged it. Okay. The Trump administration said, let me see the black agenda. Let me just look. Can we just look, please? He didn't say he was going to do anything. I just want to read. You know what Kamala Harris said? Well, after we win the election, I'm going to take a lookie and we'll see. Bitch ain't did shit. Yes, I called her bitch. She ain't did shit yet. We're gonna wait till next year for her to look at the black agenda. We have an Asian agenda. You know,
but hold up.
No.
Hold up. The only reason that administration said that was because he's Ice Cube. They love celebrities. No. Wait.
No.
As long as you are a celebrity with Trump, come on now. We got to keep him accountable.
Well,
Trump
like
is big on celebrities. No. Roland Martin was wrong. I get that, but I'm not talking about Roland Martin.
The point is, all of us will have something to say. All of us. We're on a podcast right now. We all have something to say. Not one of us have fucking paperwork in our hand, a policy with all types of shit. Turn to chapter 2. Do. We do all this, and nobody had nothing. He had something to look at. The only person who had something to look at. And Kamala Harris said, wait till I get to the office, then I will look at it. She hasn't looked at shit yet. What are you waiting for?
Are you sure?
You got... Yeah.
You said she ain't look at it. She's
now.
This
is what Ice Cube is saying. I don't have the policy, boo boo. I don't got the policy. Yeah. That's between him and her. Okay. He said he didn't look at it, so I didn't call him up on the phone. I wish I knew him. Hey, but I didn't talk to him. He said she didn't look at it yet. His people did not reach out. He said the only people that prior to the actual, the actual election was the Trump administration. My only question for you is for Kamala, who said it. When are you going to look at it? Where were you when all this shit happened with the immigration? I seen you at the sporting event. I ain't seen you nowhere else. You was waving. You had your pearls. You had Chucks on. I didn't know.
To the border. Let's give her that. I mean, damn. I don't know where otherwise, she's Carmen Sandiego. I don't know where in the world she is. Yeah. Okay, let's be clear. She has been down to the border.
I'm just saying he had a policy. It's a difference between us talking about things. Liz can have 30 different comments in this section right now, like, amen, Liz, preach on, Liz, girl, you got it, sister love. Where's your policies? Nobody on this platform, including myself, have anything in documents to say, here you go. Here, can you just look at it? Tell me what's wrong. Is it section 2? Should I improv? Can I fix this over? Nobody had it. Okay, let me go on to the so what we got here?
Breathe. Sorry, lost the chat. Forgot where I left off. Anyway, Fab Pod. Thank you. We love you. Like, subscribe, and share.
I'm sorry, freely commenting. All of us were on a tangent at one time in the show.
I've been listening.
Yeah, all of us been feeling something.
Oh, Jesus.
And Melissa, the only way to beat the system is to become the system. Get an education. Have your children get an education and become the system. Policies take time to change, which is so true. And thank you for that. And but we keep talking about these policies, right? And who did what and who looked at what and who sat back and schmoozed with a rapper and why they did this. We already have policies. We're not making people accountable to the policies that's already put in place.
That's true.
What are we missing?
Right. Well, policies and elections are local. A lot of times we don't pay attention to local. We're looking at Biden, but we're not looking local. Like there's a black guy right now running against what's her name? The one that's giving away that gun. Taylor Greene.
Mm-hmm.
So Stacey Abrams, what she did was amazing. So she was going to other races and galvanizing people in different states for certain races. And when that push came, she was such a spearhead. So looking at that example, so I saw the guy that is running against her. So people should donate to money to I forgot his name, so I'm sorry. But look him up, donate, put his information out there, because elections are local. So if she's gone and he's in a place, that's somebody else. So we got to elect the people that we want locally. And that's how you build. That's how you build. because right now we're going we're going after Biden, which we should go after Biden. We should go after the vice president, but we need to stay local.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's true.
say it
Go ahead, Ty.
again. I don't care if we stay local, if we go state, if we go federal. There are policies up and down the front and back, crack of your ass. It's not where it's at. It's that we are not holding the people accountable that's supposed to hold the people accountable.
Well,
the policies and procedures and laws that are already written. We can change them, pick them apart, veto them however we want. But if we are not holding the people accountable, it means nothing.
well, just to wrap it up. Wow, and I just looked at the time, like, damn.
And then be like, hold up.
Yeah, we were charged.
Yeah. Emotional topic right here. No, but I wanted to say you made a good point in reference to policies already being here, and then it's local, right? Because if you look at it, majority of areas have Republican governors. So when you see the policies in play, when you see somebody abusing something, when you see the abortion laws just changed, when you see these different things, it's the governor that's running shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, well, wait, what's happening here? I would suggest and make sure that you find out, when's the next time, that your governor is running, and see what those policies are and how you can make change locally. Because of course, this being a podcast, and yes, guys, we are officially on Spotify. I haven't truly announced it, but we're gonna get that rolling. But it's not truly a roll. It's like a soft announcment.
Remember,
a pre-grand opening.
Yeah. But with that being said, though, it's just interesting because you have to know kind of, what your area is doing, what your county, what your township, what they're doing. I mean, even for the stuff that's happening in reference to the whole school policies. I mean, because once again, right, immigration is going to affect the kids going to school and this and this. So it's all happening. Let's go and read these last little comments here.
Yeah, you see, I'm looking too. Freely commenting, I agree with Kia. Yeah, she was on it. That one, I felt that coming out.
Yeah.
And Melissa, we need more minorities to become police officers, border patrol, and study political science and become political leaders. Bitchin' won't do it.
Oh,
pretty much that's like piggybacking of.
Oh, I'm still clapping for you. I'm still clapping for you, Melissa.
Yeah. Yeah, and then freely commenting, okay, Liz, maybe I need voter therapy. How do we hold them accountable? We vote and keep getting slapped in the face, and our Black politicians are too silent for me right now.
Before you answer that question, Liz, I just want to go back to Melissa. Yes, I'm clapping still. But with that being said, for those who do know, I do have a lot of HR experience, and they're the gatekeepers. So you can apply for, but I know a lot of people who are African-American descent, or brown skin, and they apply for certain positions and they're not getting selected because when you have the hiring managers, they're the ones who don't look like us. And if they do hire you, they're going to lowball you on your pay. I've seen it all the times. I have conversations about it all the time in corporate America. Those conversations are real. They'll say, hey, you need to hire this amount of people. So the citizen will look at it and say, well, why are they not applying? They do apply. They're just not getting, called in. There's a certain look, there's a certain image. I don't know who I was just telling. I had somebody call me one time and looking for person to work. They said, well, I don't want a person with curly hair, too ethnic of hair. Oh. And what does that mean to me? That means you're not looking for a certain type of person, right? So these things are true. So we need to actually, get positions in HR so then we can battle that. Right. It's a constant fight that we are fighting to make a way. Go ahead, Ty.
Oh, thank you. I needed to be tagged in. Okay. So under Thai Consulting, I do a workshop called Systemic Oppression in the Workplace. And pretty much what I'm going through is just like you're saying, Kia, and it goes back to the policies that are written. We have the EEOC, we have the personal stuff in the HR that writes all these policies and procedures on how they want to hire and what's acceptable. And we have to have these trainings and diversity and inclusion. Here's where we keep going wrong, and I'm repeating myself. But in my workshop, I don't care what you think, because I cannot change your experience, your ideology, your religion. I can't change none of that. However, what I can do is make you accountable to the policies and procedures that are already put in place. See, because even if I force my staff to go to a diversity and inclusion training, they are still human resource, like you said. That doesn't mean that they took anything away from that training. However, I know that there is a policy and law written that if they discriminate based off of A, B, C, D, and E, that they can be dismissed, they can be personally sued. So again, yes, we're getting them, we're trying to get them in there. But even like you said, Kia, once we get them in there, they are still being discriminated against.
With
They are
arrested financial pay. I'm so sorry. I had this conversation, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Ty, and just trying to be really fast with it.
sorry, you know we've all been getting it.
So with that being said, and I'm not putting any names of companies and these things, definitely not. But you'll have Liz, Afro Latina. You'll have Specs, white man, and Specs may not have no education. She has education. We both hire both of them, so congratulations. I'm gonna give Specs $65,000. That's the cap salary. We're gonna start him off at 65 because guess what? He's gonna start a family, and he's a good man. This white man is a good working white man, and he wants to start off. Look at him humbling himself. He's gonna come and do his thing. Liz on the other end, Afro Latina, has the education. You know what? She needs to put a little extra work in. You're not going to get shit for free. You're going to start you off at 40,000.
Yep, same job.
Same job, same type of thing. He gets a starting chance. You know why?
Yeah.
Because he is going to do the right thing. He just wants to start a family, have kids. He's an honest guy. Liz, on the other hand, ain't nothing for free over here, Liz.
And don't be a black gay male. Don't, because there's a hierarchy to oppression, right? Way beyond race. Don't be a black gay male. That puts you even further on the
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I know she responded back. She says here,
thank you for educating me. I am white. I don't experience that.
Mm-hmm.
It educated me.
Yeah.
No,
but it's fortunate because when the outside looking in, you're not understanding. So here you have white Specs and here you have Afro Latina Liz. Both have the same job, but you don't know that she's starting off $20,000 less or $25,000 less than her counterpart.
Right. Because it's also terminable for you to discuss your salary. So how are you ever going to know? And if you do, you're fired.
Yeah, but those systems, like you said, Tyra, put there specifically. I'm gonna look out for my I want Specs to be a good American and have his family and my God, this is a great country we live in. He's not experienced. We're making the America great again. That's what we're doing. Oh yeah. I heard about your family, Liz. You want everything easy. You think you can just walk into our country. No, that's exactly what their mind thinks.
Don't wear your natural hair. Don't, because I don't
right.
That's a whole other conversation. Whole other conversation. But in reference to this comment here, freely commenting in reference to the voter therapy. Liz, any last words?
Yes. So, voter therapy, I am here to help you.
We love everybody here. We're just talking. We're just trying to help.
So, yes, voter therapy, right? What we cannot do is just sit it out, right? It's too important. Even though it seems like it's so far removed from you and you have no control over it, at least have a goddamn say. Have a say. If people are going to be making a decision over you, put your wishes out there. You're not going to win every time, and we can't be those ridiculous people standing on the corner holding signs every time we lose either, right? Don't be a sore loser. Activate. If your person does not win, run your goddamn self. Find somebody local in your community that you can get behind, right? You're not going to win the presidency every time. You only get 2 senators per state, and most of the people in your state don't look like you. That's why they call us minorities, right? Find somebody in your community, whether they look like you or not, that you can get behind and do the work, right? You don't just show up on election day and expect shit to go your way. That's not how that works. That's like taking your spoon and put it in the pot and going, I don't like that. Did you throw any salt in it? Like, yo, do the work, right? We all have it in us to get it done. Who was, I think it was Melissa actually that put in the comments, yo, become that police officer, become the politician, become the educator. Our main problem is that they're just refusing to educate us. At this point, they just said, we ain't educating you, right?
You're right.
You anymore, guys.
Be the woman that's the example that you want for your children. Be the man, be the husband, be who you can be within your life to be a better person, right? Voting is not only every 4 years in November. That's not how voting works, right? It's a everyday thing. Y'all think of it like foreplay. You don't just show up and stick it in. You got to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? So
some people.
Wait, what? I'm just gonna.
Way past just the adults, but way past what we're doing now. Please remember, we still have the youth. Educate the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get them involved in community service stuff and coalitions and youth coalitions and task force and the youth mayors councils. Get them started in things early so we can start prepping them and preparing them later on. We're going to be out of the box. We're going to phase out. So these other generations are the ones we're going to be relying on. Where is their head at? We need to get together for them. Just an extra added addition.
Just to read the last comment.
And last comment is, Melissa, I am here to learn, and we love you.
Yes. And you know what's interesting? When I say this all the time, I just wanted to be able to do the podcast so I can help at least one person. And I see that the show has helped more than just one person. And educate me too. I mean, and that's what my premise. I love to learn. I love to have conversations with Liz and Specs. I'm like, well, no, you did. Well, yes, you did. And Ty be like, listen, what's going on? So I just love it, and at the end of the day, these are serious topics that affect us, and this is the very, very last comment. Oh my God, I can't believe how long this
Freely commented, said, I stopped calling myself a minority decades ago. Okay, I'm a clinical minister. I'll minister folks towards sanity in today's highly combustible time, especially since our churches are too silent.
And we thank you for that, and we love you for that. Thank you so much. Last comments, Ty, Specs, Liz.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I know we went way above and beyond our time, but you want to know what? Thank you for trooping it out with us. That shows the love and respect that we all have for one another. Remember, this is all our personal thoughts, and we're here to educate and help each other learn and grow. Keep coming back, share our content, help us grow. We love you guys. Thank you.
Specs, Liz.
Love you.
So, all right. So last but not least, so we are unfiltered and intentional, grown and honest. If you guys don't know, the shirts are on grownhonestconcepts.com. Love you so much. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.
Yes. Oh, wait. What's this?
It gotta be cash. All the
cash.
No, that's some extra time. LOL. We did drop the ball last week.
Last week we wasn't in. I have
on our shoulders.
Yeah, we did it this time, but we love you guys. The news is coming. The conversation won't stop. See you next week. Bye.